All right, we have something pretty incredible to break down today. It's a document that has recently surfaced, and honestly, it reads more like a financial thriller than a report. It alleges that a massive, pre-planned financial catastrophe was constructed in plain sight, aimed right at millions of Americans, and then, somehow, it was intercepted. So let's dive in and unpack what this thing actually says.
Right from the jump, the dossier hits you with this line. It's making it crystal clear that this isn't some guess about the future. It's an assertion that a system was already designed and built, piece by painful piece.
And here it is, the core claim laid bare. According to this document, a highly sophisticated financial weapon was deliberately put together, and its intended target? The retirement savings of ordinary, everyday people.
Now, this is where the mystery really begins. The dossier's whole premise is that this weapon was built, but the trigger was never actually pulled. So, what was this financial doomsday machine? What was it made of? And how was it stopped? That's what we're going to get into.
Okay, so let's start with the weapon itself. The dossier provides a really detailed anatomy of what it calls a risk engine.
The document gives it this very technical name, a synthetic risk engine. But here's an easier way to think about it. Imagine a high-speed, secret tunnel. The whole point of this tunnel was to pump the wild, unpredictable volatility of something like Bitcoin directly into the pension and retirement funds that we all assume are boring and safe, all while completely bypassing the normal financial circuit breakers.
The dossier claims this was all built in 3 very deliberate steps. Step 1, legitimization. You take something inherently risky, like Bitcoin, and you wrap it up in a familiar, trusted package, like an ETF, to make it look safe for mainstream investment. Then, step 2, leverage expansion. You use complex financial tools, basically side bets called derivatives, to massively crank up the amount of money you can gamble on that ETF. And finally, step 3, amplification. You attach what the dossier calls financial explosives. These are products designed to multiply the risk to an insane degree.
And make no mistake, the stakes here were absolutely astronomical. The dossier claims this thing wasn't designed for a small market dip. It was built for a full-blown systemic collapse. We're talking about pension funds going to zero, a contagious panic on the level of 2008, or maybe even worse.
So this wasn't just some abstract financial game being played in the clouds. The dossier gets very, very specific about who was standing in the line of fire.
The claim is as simple as it is chilling. This wasn't a battle between hedge funds or Wall Street giants. No, the alleged bullseye for all this manufactured risk was the financial bedrock of the American middle class.
The dossier actually lists the groups it claims were the involuntary participants. We're talking about teachers, nurses, federal employees, military families, basically anyone with a 401k or a public pension plan. The people who formed the backbone of the entire country.
And maybe the most damning part of the whole claim, according to the dossier, is that these people weren't willing investors. They were allegedly tethered to this system without their knowledge or their consent, completely in the dark about the unbelievable risk their retirement funds were suddenly exposed to. So the big question, right? If a weapon was built and victims were targeted, who were the architects? Well, the dossier dedicates a huge portion to identifying the specific people and institutions it claims were responsible for building this thing.
Now, the document is careful to frame what's coming next. It flat out states that this isn't just a list of accusations, it's a record of public filings, documented corporate roles, and a trail of actions that anyone can trace.
First up, the dossier points to NASDAQ, calling them the derivatives gatekeepers. It lists key executives from the CEO, Adena Friedman, all the way down to the chief legal officer, John Zecca. It claims their departments were essential to opening the floodgates for all this risk to enter the system.
The dossier zooms in on this one specific regulatory filing. It calls it the mechanical doorway. Basically, the switch that was flipped to massively expand the ability to place these leveraged bets on a Bitcoin ETF, treating it not like a volatile asset, but like a super stable blue-chip stock. And this is the number the dossier highlights: 1 million. The filing allegedly opened the door to 1 million daily contracts. That is just a staggering, almost incomprehensible increase in leverage and exposure, which the document claims was the very heart of this risk engine.
Next, the dossier points to BlackRock, labeling them the vehicle engineers. Why? For creating the IBT Bitcoin ETF that it says served as the core of the whole system.
And then it names JP Morgan as the provider of the leverage layer, the actual financial products that allegedly packed the explosive punch.
And this right here shows the completely lopsided risk the dossier describes. These JP Morgan notes offered a 1.5 times return on the way up, but a devastating 1-for-1 loss on the way down. That means investors could face a total and complete wipeout. It's a structure the dossier compares directly to the kind of leveraged products that blew up the world back in 2007.
So if this entire system was built and ready to go, why didn't the world end? Well, the final section of the dossier is all about the interception, how this blueprint was supposedly exposed before it could be fully activated. This timeline really illustrates the dossier's core argument perfectly. It claims that the interception, the discovery, happened right here, at the architectural stage. It happened before the massive river of money and options volume could flow in and light the fuse. The explosion was averted because the bomb was mapped out before it could ever detonate.
The historical claim being made here is just massive. I mean, think about it. In financial history, we almost always analyze these collapses after they've already happened. We're picking through the rubble. The dossier argues this is a rare, maybe even unprecedented case of a pre-crime discovery, finding the blueprint of the crime before the crime could even occur.
So in the end, this document presents itself as a permanent record. It's meant to be a forensic log of names, filings, and financial structures. It's designed to break the blueprint and make sure that no one involved can ever turn around and say, "We had no idea."
And that, really, is where this whole document leaves us, with a final, deeply unsettling question. If this unbelievably complex and dangerous system was built right out in plain sight, using public filings and mainstream financial products, it really forces you to wonder, doesn't it? What else is out there, being quietly constructed in the shadows of our financial system right now?